boogeyman, scariest boogeyman of all time. This is my top 5 list. You know, I'm doing this list because a couple of y'all down in the comment section, you know, asked me, what are your, top 5 scary movies? What are your top 5, scary, characters in film? I'm gonna give y'all, my list, and this is my list. Nobody else's. This is based on scariness, scares. The films that these characters were in, creepiness. That made me stay up at night. It's all pertaining to my thoughts and how I grew up and watching these films and characters, and influential. And when I mean influential, has these characters influenced other horror film characters, in the past and present and future and stuff. Number 5. And number 5, I know this is gonna kind of shock people, and people are gonna be like, "What? You put him in number 5?" But yes, number 5 is Michael Myers. Yeah, I know. Don't beat me up right now. But there's a lot more, characters in horror film, boogeymen that scared me a lot more than Michael Myers. Michael Myers scared me though. He's from Halloween films, with his white mask. Very, very ominous. He doesn't talk, with his big long knife, and his and his I call it garbage man jumpsuit. Very slow, melodic, kind of a very menacing figure, very ghostly like. I put it down at number 5 because some generations say that this is the scariest boogeyman of all time, but in my generation, I grew up, I born in the 80s, grew up in the 90s, and Michael Myers, he was, mostly, started in the 70s and then went through the, 80s and 90s and so on and so forth. So I put him in number 5 for that reason. Another reason I put him in number 5 because I really only kind of like just a few of his films, like the first 2, and then like the films with little girl was in it. I think it was supposed to be his niece or something. And plus of the secondary character, I feel like the secondary character kind of sometimes when she in the film overshines the main character, which is the protagonist, the antagonist. Which is Michael Myers, and that is Jamie Lee Curtis, her character. I think I loved her more than Michael Myers when I see her on the screen. She really played the damsel in distress, scream queen to the T. She is the perfect scream queen, the #1 scream queen, in my generation. So when that overshines the boogeyman, then you can't put him too high. This is my list, y'all, so I put him at number 5. He's still a scary guy. Number 4, this one might shock people too, and I guess I shouldn't have said top 5 boogeymen. I should have said top 5 boogie people, because this is a boogie woman, or should I say boogie little girl. Reagan, yes, Reagan McNeil from The Exorcist. Yeah, scared the living daylights out of me. Linda Blair played this character so well, and she played it. She was so young when she played it. I think she was like 13 or 14 or 15 or something. Very influential film too. Very well. First, with her being possessed as a young girl and doing these bodily harms to her body and doing these things, vomiting on priests and cursing and stuff. This was a very shocking film, even back then and still today. You probably couldn't get away with this film in these days and time, man. You're having a little girl do stuff like, masturbate with a crucifix. You can't do that today. No, I'm sorry. It wouldn't be on the big screen. That's how crazy this film was, and this character. Like I said, very influential because a lot of rip-offs and different films came off of that type of film, because this was like the grandmother of possession films. well, even to today, you know, from like films like The Exorcism of Emily Rose, even like I think it influenced, you know, the creepy kids element of creepy kids in films like the Insidious kids, the Others, Sixth Sense kid, little boy, oh, The Orphan, yes, very ominous, creepy little girl. Even influenced, you know, the Japanese films, you know, the Asian horror films like Ju-on and Ringu, the Ring and The Grudge. You know, I don't think there would be like creepy, decrepit little girl in films like the Asian films and how they do it if it wasn't for, you know, Reagan and The Exorcist. You know, it was very, very crazy film, very influential, very scary and creepy child film, like the grandfather of creepy child film, grandmother, I guess. Number 3, Chuckie from Child's Play. Yes, Chuckie. I mean, being a child, of course, you know, the thing that you want the most as a child is a toy, and when it turns on you and scares the living daylights out of you, wants to kill you and possess your body, that's some scary shit, man. That is terrifying. The way Brad Dourif plays him too, almost like Jack Nicholson, the way his voice is just so like almost like Jack Nicholson from The Shining type. It's so creepy and scary. Just to have that voice and that doll, and then when the doll got beat up and burnt and scratched and his face got scarred up, you know, Chuckie was just a shithead, man. He was an asshole, crazy motherfucking doll. And I know he was so small and stuff, and people like, oh well, you can just kick him and just burn him and stuff. He kept coming back, man. He kept coming back and doing harm and being, you know, menacing. So yeah, and he was very influential too. He influenced, you know, films like you know, all these doll films, you know, Puppet Master, Dolls, even films of today, you know, The Boy, very influential by, you know, Chuckie and Child's Play. All right, number 2. I think y'all can maybe figure out number 2 and number 1, but maybe, I don't know. Let me see. Do y'all know number 2? What's number 2? Which one I'm gonna say? Which one? Oh, okay. No, you're wrong. No, but number 2 is Jason Voorhees. Yes, from the Friday the 13th films. Now, Jason is epitome of a boogeyman. Very influential. Like I said, you know, this is my generation, so he was in the 80s and the 90s. And those Friday the 13th films with Jason and them just scared the living daylights out of me. They were so scary. And plus, you know, being a young man growing up and stuff, you know, his films, and, you know, he killed on, you know, killing the youth, the teenagers, you know, for, you know, like sex, drugs, and rock and roll. For loving those things, you're gonna die, you know. It was very, you know, so like 80s and 90s too, his films. You know, with his machete and his mask, that blank mask, you know, it's almost, really, he took the elements of Michael Myers and the Halloween and took it to the nth degree. You know, that blank face with the mask. You couldn't see behind the mask, but if you saw it, oh God, he was ugly. But still, I think the mask was more scary than his ugly, decrepit zombie face, because it was like a blank face. You know, he didn't talk, he was menacing. He didn't have to run, and he would catch up with you. You could run 1,000,000 miles per hour, and he'd still catch your ass. And it was just, everything about Jason was just incredible, scary, creepy. And he influenced a whole lot of different films too. Yeah, he influenced, you know, I think he influenced Scream, you know, the Mass Killer, and, you know, a lot of slasher films. A lot of slasher films from the 80s and 90s, man. It definitely was influenced by, you know, Friday the 13th and Jason. You know, I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. All those type of films, man. All right, the number 1, y'all. My number 1 creepiest, scariest, whatever you want to call it, boogeyman of all time. It's my list. Freddy Krueger. Freddy, yes. You all my children now. Freddy Krueger, man. The scariest creature thing ever, man, to me. Growing up, you know, I did, you know, like any other kid, I had nightmares. Freddy Krueger is a nightmare figure. Once he gets in your dreams, he can kill you, and that is a scary thing because you can't deny sleep. You have to go to sleep. You need sleep, and when you go to sleep, you have dreams and you have nightmares. And you know, Wes Craven made such a perfect, you know, character, man, and perfect film, man. Nightmare film, man. A nightmare figure can be anything, be anyone. You can be anywhere, anything, and go anywhere in a dream, in a nightmare. I mean, it's so good, it's so great, and he was just so crazy, man, so scary with his burnt face and his, you know, his hat over his burnt bald head and the red and green sweater and the blades, you know, the blade hand. Very scary, man. Freddy was very influential to a lot of slasher films, and still influential with nightmare sequences. They still have, you know, nightmare sequences in films today. Like, I just saw, you know, the Conjuring 2 trailer, and it reminds me so much of, you know, Nightmare on Elm Street, Conjuring 2, and Conjuring, and different films like that. I can go on, you know, Insidious, Jeepers Creepers. A lot of films take from Nightmare on Elm Street and just the Freddy character, man. They owe Freddy some money. He was just so scary, man. I grew up, like I said, I grew up in the 80s. Oh, well, I was born in the 80s and grew up in the 90s. And he ruled all that generation, man, them decades. I was born, you know, 1984. That's when he came out, 1984. I have a special bond with Freddy, man. Me and Freddy are like this. But yeah, he is my #1 boogeyman. It was terrifying, still is terrifying. Oh, I didn't even talk about, you know, the person that played Freddy, Robert Englund. And I know some other people played him and stuff like that, but Robert Englund, he is a you know, classically trained actor. He really did his job playing Freddy. I don't see no other character, you know, no other actor that could play him like him. Everything from his facial expressions, from his voice, how he walked, it was very Robert Englund-like, and that's his character. And shout out to him too, man, and for Wes Craven, rest in peace, for making, you know, the best boogeyman on film, on cinema. Okay, y'all, I hope y'all like my top 5 scariest boogeymen of all time. Tell me, did I miss some characters? Did I miss some films? Did you like my list? Should some people be up higher on my list than others? Should some people be more lower? Should some people be not on my list at all? Y'all tell me down below in the comment section. If you like my video, hit the like button, comment, subscribe, and share, y'all. Until next video, I'm out.